So there has been something that's been on my mind as I'm a member of a couple of private Facebook lacrosse boards. I say private, it's just their groups. Anyone can join, but one of them's over 7,000 members. And I mean, it is legit nut jobs. Guys who just absolutely love college lacrosse. It's all they talk about. As soon as Thursday hits, there's all these game threads. I mean, this is a serious group of people that love the sport of college lacrosse. One thing that is perplexing me is I have never seen so many grown men complain, bitch, and moan like babies. And to be less politically correct, to whine and cry with the emotional maturity of a 12-year-old girl. Okay, that's probably wrong. 12-year-old girls are probably more emotionally mature than 12-year-old boys. But let's go with more of like the hormonal craziness of a 12-year-old girl. These guys complaining in this board about the fact, A, that there's these services that you have to pay money for so that you can watch college lacrosse games. ESPN Plus is brought up a lot. Now, I will say it does seem like ESPN in the past years on the Watch ESPN app had more games on that were just free to watch as part of your ESPN subscription. And now since they've introduced the ESPN Plus, it does seem like more of those games are behind the paywall. But come on, guys. There are every weekend now, ESPN has 10, 15 games on, and I think that they'll increase as basketball season winds down. They have 10 or 15 games on that you get to watch that even 3 years ago, 2 years ago, you did not have a chance to watch any of these games. I am willing to pay ESPN $4.99 to watch even a shitty telecast. As long as I get to watch that lacrosse game, and if otherwise I wouldn't have been able to, I will pay ESPN $4.99. People are also complaining about the Big Ten Network. I think they're more pricey, like $9.99 a month or $14.99 a month. I can't fully remember. Once again, you didn't get to watch these games. 2-3 years ago, there wasn't such a thing. And where there was, the telecasts were so terrible that it was barely worth watching. So I have a subscription to ESPN Plus. I have a subscription to Big Ten, the Big Ten Network or the Big Ten Plus. I have my cable subscription that allows me to watch the free games that all of these services offer, but I also pay extra to watch the extra games that these places offer. Big Ten Network puts a game on free every weekend, or maybe even two. And last year I had the Ivy League subscription, so I'm thankful that this year I don't have to pay the $9 and change for the Ivy League because they're on ESPN Plus now. So that's my big problem. I can't believe people are complaining about having to pay minor amounts of money to watch college lacrosse when there's plenty of free college lacrosse to watch on anyway. The other big gripe is people complaining left and right about the quality of the telecast. Now, I will admit, the Big Ten Network, you're paying $14.99 for that subscription or $9.99, whatever the hell it is, depending on if you're paying for a team or for the whole thing unlocked. Those telecasts are kind of crappy compared to what you have to pay for them. So I will give people that side of it. I'm still happy to be able to watch them, and I'm willing to bear that price to be able to watch those games. But I agree, those telecasts kind of suck considering what you pay. The ESPN telecast, the ones that are part of that $4.99 ESPN kicker, those are shot by college students. We don't even have a chance to watch those games, a lot of those games, if it's not for the college teams that are putting them together. So wherever you see a really terrible, young-sounding telestrator or play-by-play or color guy, A, they're not usually getting paid, to my knowledge. Not all of them are. A lot of them are students. So at some point, you've got to work these things out. Some of them are just people that are willing to get together to put these telecasts together for us, and they're getting paid pennies, if anything. So the quality of the telecasts are not always great. So anything outside of the Big Ten Network, you can't really complain about it. Turn the volume off and shut the hell up and just enjoy the lacrosse. Even the camera work is going to be bad sometimes. But guess what? I would rather watch a shitty telecast, and I'd rather the announcers were terrible and the camera work shoddy than not watch it at all if I'm interested in those teams. I've been watching some of the D2 streams that have been up and some of the D3 streams that have been up, and they do an okay job. And I mean, in those games, you just sit and listening to silence. So I did watch the Utah, who'd they just play? Furman game. The announcers for that one, they were rough. They were rough. It was very evident that the girl was probably a student, and if she wasn't, she was not lacrosse-minded. The guy, I believe he had lacrosse in his family. He may have played. They weren't great at what they did, but I am thankful to hell that they did it. And outside of just being overly critical for the sake of this video, I wouldn't even say anything about it. I mean, the camera work wasn't bad in that game. They were better than listening to nothing for me, and I got a couple of chuckles out of it. But man, these are people. They're trying to bring us something that 2 or 3 years ago we didn't have. For me, I am eternally grateful to you people for what you do and for the fact that you put these out there. I've got a buddy who's been the color guy in a couple of games for the Binghamton University games locally here. I don't think he's getting paid. Hey, holla, Duffy. I appreciate you putting your time and effort into doing these games and to trying to grow the game. And I suspect to a lot of these people who are just sitting around complaining about crap, you probably aren't doing anything yourself to grow the game. So to that, I say shut the fuck up and enjoy these damn lacrosse games.